Well, hi there. Welcome to BSF Recovery Team. You know, it's May already. That means in a few weeks we have our big Memorial Weekend event coming up. So we got to put the driveway project on hold, get some vehicles ready for Memorial Weekend. I noticed last fall we had a little bit of trouble with the Rubicon, keeping the battery charged and starting. And after some preliminary diagnosis, I noticed that the alternator just wasn't quite putting out what it should anymore, and our starter was dragging or drawing a little too much amperage, especially when hot. I kind of expected this after a few runs up to the iron range. You remember that orange puddle that we drive through now and then? Well, that funny orange color comes from iron ore. And the iron ore mixed with the water, splashing up onto electrical stuff, and then after it dries, kind of leaves a residue. Well, that residue has continuity, and it tends to take its toll on electrical components like alternators and starters. So we're going to have to replace the alternator and the starter in the Rubicon. And guess what? We're going to have seat cover do it. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is we want to disconnect the battery. That way we won't have Sparky popping up when we least expect it. So to do that, you're going to need a 1/2-inch wrench and a screwdriver. And we want to disconnect the negative post, which is the black one. This one right here.
Okay. Am I going to get shocked or electrocuted or thrown somewhere?
No, that's why we're taking the negative battery cable off, is because that one will not create a spark when we take it on and off.
Okay.
If you go to take the positive post off first with a metal tool, and you touch some other part of the vehicle with the metal tool, like Mara does here, that can and usually will create a spark.
And how far do I have to take it off?
That's probably far enough. Now see if the clamp is loose. Just grab it with your hand, wiggle it. Not quite yet. Okay, take the screwdriver, and in the split end of the clamp there where the bolt goes through,
Okay.
just put the screwdriver in there and kind of pry it open a little bit.
I don't want to get shocked.
You won't. Twist it a little.
Oh.
That works better. Okay, now it's loose. And we can pull it off.
Oh.
Just like that.
Okay.
Alright, the next step would be to remove the big battery wire off of the alternator. But I can see the AC line is kind of in the camera's view right now. So let's get that out of the way, make it a little easier for them to see and a little easier for you to get it loose.
What am I moving?
Well, we're just going to pull the AC line out of the way here with a bungee cord.
Oh. Okay.
Just like that. So now, the next step, like I say, is to remove the main battery wire off of the alternator. And that would be this nut right here and this wire. But it should be a 13mm wrench. Do you have one of those?
Yes.
Okay, so put that on the nut and loosen it up. Take the nut off and take the wire off. Because we disconnected the battery, there's no worry about sparks. Good.
Okay, where do I stick the...
Anyway, you can just let it hang.
Okay. Now what?
Alright, well the next step would be to drop the serpentine belt off. But before we do that, because this vehicle doesn't have a diagram for the serpentine belt on a sticker underneath the hood here, to make sure that we remember how the serpentine belt is configured around the pulleys, let's take some pictures with your phone before we drop it off.
Okay, what is the serpentine belt and where is it?
This is the serpentine belt. It's what drives the alternator along with all the other accessories on the front of the engine here.
Oh.
So we want to take a picture of how the belt is configured.
It's cute.
Or a couple of pictures.
Does that big hose have to be in my way?
Yeah. Let's take a couple of pictures, one from each side. Okay, that'll work.
Cute.
Okay, now there's a spring tensioner right down here below the alternator. And
Okay.
in that spring tensioner is a square hole. That square hole is the same size as a 1/2-inch drive ratchet. So you can take the big 1/2-inch drive ratchet there and put it in that square hole so we can move the tensioner against the spring tension to loosen up the belt.
But I don't want to wreck the fan.
You won't.
Ah,
Did it go in?
it went in. Much
Okay.
better.
So now push it my way. See how it loosens up the belt?
Hey, that's easy. Do you want to do the belt for me?
Okay. Now the belt is off. We're just going to leave it lay in there. It's off of the alternator pulley. We're just going to leave the belt lay in there, so that'll make it easier to put it back on. So now you can let the ratchet go. You can go ahead and let it rest against the bar there. There we go.
That was easy.
Now, one of the other things we got to do is we got to disconnect the main or the field wire. And that's this clip right here. Now these are a quick clip. They squeeze
Okay.
and pull.
Ah.
Very simple.
Ah.
Now we have two 15mm headed bolts to take out, and the alternator's out.
Okay.
Wrong direction. There we go.
Sorry.
That's all right. Again, you might have to turn the socket a little bit to get it to the right spot. There you go. Okay, it's loose enough. You might be able to get it with your fingers now.
Yep. Okay, so that one's.
And take it all the way out.
Oh. Okay, where's
And we
the
have
other
another one right down here.
Oh.
Will an extension make it a little easier for that one?
I got it.
Okay.
I need an extension.
Okay, I'll get you one. We have a couple different lengths here for you to try. See which one works the best.
Let's try this
That one's going to be too long to get on
Yep.
the bolt head straight.
This hose.
Probably want your ratchet handle on this side of the hose.
Oh.
And if it's really in the way, we can let it back now too, to make it easier to get at that bolt.
Yeah, it's in the way. See, now.
Is that better?
Yeah, I don't need the extender now. Or. Okay. It's an extender, right?
Extension is what they call it.
Oh.
The proper name.
gonna be around forever to do this for me, right?
You're gonna have to learn to do this on your own Jeep, aren't you?
No! I mud, and I clay, and you fix.
I don't know if that's fair.
I think it's fair. It's gonna fall.
It won't fall yet.
Oh, there it is. It's dirty.
Yep.
Okay, now what?
Okay, now we lift the alternator off. Like that.
Oh,
The situation is when that bolt gets tightened, it pulls this little collar tight against the bracket that it sits on. That's to hold it nice and tight. So that collar, you have to kind of wiggle it to push that collar back out a little bit before it'll slide off.
I think I found our problem. Look at all that mud.
Yep,
There's
that's a lot
right
of
there.
our problem.
Right there.
The mud and the iron ore that gets in there from playing up on the iron range.
I don't know who does that.
Okay, now we want to make sure that we compare and that the new one is the correct one for the vehicle.
And how do you do that?
Just a visual. So we take a look at it here, and terminals are in the same spot, same bracket mounting, and serpentine pulley looks to be about the same. So I believe we have the right one. So this one goes back in the box because there is a core on this. Means when we take this back to the parts store, we get a little bit of money back.
Oh. Okay. So now what do I do?
So now this one gets put in its place. Alright, so now you want to put the new alternator down in its place and put the mounting bolts in.
Okay. How do I know if I'm in the right spot?
Well, you can either use the bolt, or some people like to use a little punch to line it up in the holes.
I think I'm off. Yep, I'm off. Okay.
So sometimes it might be easier to start with the top one
Okay.
because you can see it better. You don't want to cross the threads.
This is heavy.
Okay, that one started.
Okay.
Now you can maneuver it around with one hand, put the other bolt in with the other hand. You gotta kind of feel where the hole is.
They don't make enough room.
They make just enough.
No, they don't.
No extra.
I'm not. Can you help me?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Trick is to make sure that the bolt is straight, line it up with the hole, slide it in, and make sure that you can thread it in with your fingers quite a ways. That way you know it's not cross-threaded.
Okay. What does cross-threaded mean?
That means the threads aren't lined up and you end up stripping them and making a mess out of it. Then we'd have to change the bracket too, and we don't want to do that because we don't have one.
Oh.
Alright, now you can tighten up your bolts.
Alright, I think I got that.
You got them good and tight?
I'm really sure. Okay, maybe not. That one
Alright.
does. Alright.
Okay.
This is all the willpower I have. Now.
Alright, should we put the belt back on?
How? How does it go?
Well, that's why we took pictures.
Okay, hold on. Okay, that.
Oh, is that the way it goes?
Yeah.
Okay.
That needs to go.
Right, the belt needs to go underneath that idler pulley. So, when you pull this up, pull the ratchet up to relieve the tension on the tensioner, I will slide it up on. I will slide the belt underneath that idler pulley.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. You got room?
We go to the other side here. Okay, push it some more. There we go. Let it slack back. Now compare to your pictures, so we got it in the right spot.
Yes, you do.
Okay, and it's completely on all of the pulleys, not hanging off any of them. Take a look.
Yes, it is on all
It's
the.
in the grooves on all the pulleys,
Yeah.
including the lower crank pulley.
Yeah.
Looks good. Okay, now we can take the ratchet out.
They were a pain in my butt to get in there.
Yeah, a little prying sometimes helps.
Gotcha! Booyah!
Okay,
Alright, now what?
so now we can plug the field wire back in. Do you remember which one that is?
This thing.
That's the small one with the clip.
Oh. This thing.
Yep, and that plugs in to the socket on the back of the alternator right here. It only plugs in one way. There we go, and it clicked. It's all the way in.
Yeah?
Alright, now before we put the battery wire on, we're going to clean that ring terminal a little bit.
Why?
To make sure that it has real good electrical contact. So to make sure it has real good electrical contact, we're going to clean it off a little bit with some emery cloth here. So we can bring it back over here where it's easier and just clean it off with the emery cloth there. Make it shiny. Alright, now you can put it over the terminal
Which way?
and put your nut on.
I don't really look.
There's a little tab, this little tab right here lines up, excuse me, into a slot in the plastic. We'll take our nut off, our new nut, slide it over the stud. See how that tab goes into a little notch in the plastic?
Yep.
And we put our nut on.
And it's 13.
Well, the old one was. The new one might not be. So check it out.
No.
It's not 13?
No.
Okay, so we got a 12 millimeter socket we can use on that one. Go ahead and tighten it up.
It's so tiny.
That should be good.
Okay, now what?
Well, before we connect the battery back up, we also have a starter to change. Next video, Mara the mechanic learns how to change a starter. So thanks for watching, BSF Recovery Team. Subscribe to our channel, share our videos, keep wheeling, stay safe out there, and maybe we'll see you in the woods.